Welcome once again to this very special series on India and Brazil on the KAJ Masterclass live every fortnight, along with my esteemed friend and podcast host Tom Reaoch. You can see him on the screen smiling. We explore together our nation's journeys in business, culture, and politics, in and as well as podcasting, as we strive to find our rightful place in the global arena. Tom is joining us from Campinas, Brazil. He is a podcast. He's a multicultural communication and networking expert, as you can see it on the screen. He's also a podcast producer, a podcast host, and he is also a strategic advisor. He is known as the king of multicultural communication and networking in Brazil, with a wealth of experience in market development and product management across diverse businesses. Tom is the founder and host of three business podcasts. He's also a public speaker and author. His deep expertise and extensive network he provides us invaluable insights into Brazil's dynamic landscape. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Well, AJ, thanks again. It's always a pleasure to be here. And it's always a pleasure to learn more about India and certainly to learn more about the customs, the people. What we talked a little bit before coming on air. One of the things in our chat today that attracted me to what we should be talking about is recently your Festival of Lights, right? It's a Diwali, and you may pronounce it differently, but the Diwali celebration, I was following that and seeing how vastly important that is to India and Indians. And as I looked for more information, I saw that it's very different throughout the country. There's regional approaches to that. And it was something that, even as an American here, or as a Brazilian business person, it was part of India that it's an unknown. So something that's has a very deep meaning to you is something that we don't basically see or know what it is. So today's chat, that's what I'd like you to chat about. That's what I'd really like to know. And I'm sure Brazilians would like to know. I'm sure everybody in the world would like to know of just how important that is. And what does it mean to you as a person and to the people in India?
Absolutely, Tom. We will certainly talk about Diwali, our festival of lights, and this has a great meaning for us. And now a lot of the world also knows about it, and that is what. But first to understand from you, Tom, how much do you know about Diwali? Not only yourself, but in the sense that how do people in Brazil look at Diwali? How much do they understand? What is it that they understand? A bit of understanding will help me then, add from things from then my perspective to that understanding.
Well, I don't want to be offensive in that, but I do have to say that most people have no understanding of what it is, when it is, and why it is. And there's very little that even shows up even in our evening newses or in the newspapers. So we don't know. And there are obviously some of the local organizations, business organizations and associations between India and Brazil obviously highlight it, offer some information about that, the importance. But generally speaking, Brazilians don't know anything about it. And from what I've seen, knowing you in our chats and looking into this deeper, and we recently passed the celebration, it interested me to see that how many different things happen on different days. So it's not, there is a day, but it seems to be an ongoing celebration. So anything that you can add and tell us will be gratefully accepted.
Absolutely, Tom. So you are right. There is one day which the world knows, but actually, there is a lot of celebrations that starts, and more than the celebration, there is this whole understanding about what this thing is all about. So Diwali, is consider is known as the Festival of Lights because we in India put out a lot of lights, and that is the original the diyas, which I will try and show you how a common person normally celebrates.
Hmm.
But first, please understand that it has a lot of uh, stories behind it. So the whole idea of Diwali, if one understands, are the stories behind it. But
Hmm.
nowadays, a lot of people understand it for two reasons. One is the Diwali part, and also one is in terms of the wealth part. In terms of dhan. Dhan is known as the wealth. So, but before that, I'll tell you, when Diwali comes, there are a string of other festivals that start before that. One is the
Hmm.
Dasera, when we talk about the burning of the effigies of Ravan,
Hmm.
the victory of good over evil. And then afterwards, it is when they say that Lord Ram, he gained the victory over uh, evil, and he brought that that the righteousness, the victory of
Hmm.
righteousness over the wrongdoers. So that is where people understand it from that. That is known as the Sera. And different sort of celebrations happen in different part of the country. And after that, 20 days after that, we celebrate the festival of Diwali. Now, but even before all these things, the all those things preparation starts, and the biggest thing that happens is if we understand it from a Western world's perspective or other
Hmm.
perspective, is the cleaning of houses. So
Mm.
almost we grew up with this thing that in Diwali, a month before Diwali or even earlier on, most of these houses they go through a lot of you know
Uh,
cleaning and painting and everything. So you see, the custom has become woven into some
well, that's
practice.
one of the things. Is obviously I looked to Google to help me understand, and one of the things I saw was that Diwali celebrated over 5 days. And day one, people cleaned their homes and shopped for gold or kitchen utensils to help bring good fortune. So it's a
Right.
cleanliness. It's clean everything before you do anything else. So.
Yeah. So that day is known as Dhanteras, but the whitewashing or white painting or
Mm.
decluttering that actually happens many days before that, because it will not happen here in smaller places where earlier on you could not take other services, so you could start getting a few people from outside put and declutter. Like in my case, or in our case, this time we found a lot of things that we were not using. So
Mm.
we try to give it to people, who would need it better to be able, because it cleans your mind. Decluttering is, why to keep things that you are not using,
Right.
and then
Right.
you clean so many things. And when you clean or go through a lot of things, you know what is important. It is like a catharsis. You see that. So that part happens when with different people, different places, but in a way, a lot of houses are, they get ready. Whoever, small house, big house, bungalows, whatever it is, but they look much more,
So that on your case, that's a day that you plan. So today we're going to clean the house. It's sort of like spring cleaning, right? In
yes,
the United States, we're
yes,
going to
yes,
spring clean. Uh,
right.
so it's a time to get together and do that.
Right, right. And so then the day comes near, the Diwali festival. But before Diwali, there are two more days earlier to that. One is that you talked about when you buy or clean that day. Also, when you clean the house, that
Hmm.
is known as Dhanteras.
Hmm.
Dhanteras, Dhan in Hindi means, wealth. But actually, we should not confine it in that sense that dhan is in today's time. As I said, the meaning keeps on. You should look at meaning in a wider sense. Earlier also, dhan is what? Wealth comes after health. So you
Hmm.
should look at, that sort of a thing that, okay, this is in terms of the health. And when you clean these things, that automatically happens. The surroundings become
Hmm.
clean, you become much more agile, your house becomes much more, you find things much more easily, those sort of things. But in terms of the wealth also part, this is the start of the, wait, of the Diwali festival. So this particular thing is from a spiritual point of view, Tom, if people understand, it is like from a physical point of view, you buy some metal. Many people
Hmm.
buy just they already have things, so they don't buy expensive stuff. Even if you buy a steel spoon or small thing, just like I bought, for
Right.
our family, we bought a small thing of steel. That is something new you buy. It is like auspicious, considered to be.
Well, and we would say the same thing as a Christmas ornament to put on your tree, just to
Right,
commemorate
right,
that. Now, in
right.
school and in business, it's a business holiday, right?
Yes, yes.
And
Diwali,
schools,
Diwali
do,
Day.
do schools take that as a holiday as well, or children
Yeah,
home? Or?
yeah. A lot of schools by that time it is the season of when holidays are there. So you have those 10-15 days holiday during that time for most of the place. Offices also, in government offices, Diwali is obviously almost like a national holiday.
Hmm.
There will be a holiday that day. In private offices, people generally uh, go to the office depending on the day, but this time it fell on a weekend. So
Mm.
Saturday and Sunday. The Friday was the Dhanteras day, but that is
Mm.
the time a lot of offices they give gifts to also employees, some
Okay.
extra something. So people do go to office if they feel that there is something. Otherwise, in many of these offices, uh, they have these puja celebrations. So a lot of times, they can have it during that day also,
Hmm.
or maybe depending on the type of office you have. In different places, it is. I will come to that. So that is on the Dhanteras day. It is just the small beginning of the big festival uh, stuff.
But they would. It was a typical company or office would have decorations for the
Yes.
event.
Yes, indeed. They do it. A lot of times, this is the HR's responsibility. And many a
Hmm.
times, others also pitch in, and together they try to decorate the office. Small or big, in bigger places, there are much more things that happen in
Hmm.
smaller places. But the feeling is always there in terms of, and everyone will look at it from that. India is a land of, diversity. So people from across the country, if it's a very diverse office, people will look at it in a different manner. Their way of clothing, will be
No,
all
so it's festive throughout the country and throughout all
yes,
persons.
yes, absolutely. And that is the one Dhanteras day. One is very auspicious thing is that you pray to the god of death. You basically that is known in many places, like they call it yam yam puja. People say people pray the why, because they pray against having any disease, illness, or a premature death. So they pray to the Lord Yam. Yam is the god of death, Yamraj, and that is where. So you light up a earthen diya, which I'll show. This was our diya this time, so I'll show you which one.
Mm.
Which one was it? This is so you light up in many places we do it this one. This is one single uh, earthen diya or light you create. So you put some oil. People use different oils. We use mustard, and this was our. So you this is the light. You pray. Only one diya you use on that particular day.
And that picture you're showing is in your home.
Yes, this time this is the
That's your personal decoration for the Light
yes,
Festival.
yes, yes, and you
Beautiful.
see, yes, and this is like invoking the gods,
Hmm.
and then people, many several people, because you also pray to the god of death, that he should protect you from anything premature. Death is certain, but nobody wants to have a premature death. So in terms of, you prepare for wealth, you worry for worship
Hmm.
about wealth, but at the same time you worship about in that. So people in different ways from different places, they look at it in their own manner here, and then
Well,
you many.
it's valuing light, it's valuing life, and
Yes,
understanding that death is important.
yes, and so then you put it out also. Many people put it outside because
Hmm.
it's about you praying to the death god. So people in different, you said, they look at it from that different perspective. And then the next day, you see, you have another thing called Choti Diwali. So that is Choti Diwali means small Diwali. Choti is small. Okay. So that before, just one day before the Diwali festival that people know of. That is also, look at it, people look at it from a different angle.
Hmm.
The stories are there from, from Lord Krishna's stories to different stories. Why do we celebrate? But it is like, what, a curtain raiser to the bigger, bigger.
Well, in your home and what you showed us, the celebration, is that a week-long celebration? Or do you do that for one day?
This is, as I said, this was one day of small, just the starting point. That was one
Okay.
candle. That was just the one candle. Okay, not many of them. Okay, this is the many people celebrate in the different manner on the
Hmm.
Choti Diwali day, which I didn't take any picture there. We go to the 11 candles or diyas. These are earthen diyas. Okay,
Hmm.
which I showed you, like this ones you put it around 11 of them. It has a
Hmm.
religious way of looking at it, spiritual way, which has come down through generations and generations. So we put 11 of them. Others will do it differently. As I said, India is a land of diversity. Many people put candles. We find it auspicious in many places that you put the earthen light, earthen, made diyas,
Okay.
and then put it out. Okay, and prepare it yourself, and then
Hmm.
it should be as natural as possible. You know, that is
But
one thing.
is it also a time that people come and visit you and you visit other persons? Do you share the light?
Yes, most of the places, when you say small places, people keep on meeting. In
Hmm.
larger places, people are preparing for the bigger day during in their own households. The bigger day is the Diwali, but before that, you see people exchange gifts. So in lot of
Okay.
places, say in northern India especially, people exchange gifts. In many
Mm.
places, they don't exchange gifts, but people keep on going, especially on Diwali day. But they have their own pujas, because a lot of Indian culture is about businesses also, and they will
Okay.
have two two rituals that day. One is at home, and then on the real on the bigger day, the Diwali day, the full Diwali day, which the world knows as the Diwali or the Pauli. That
Hmm.
is, they also have, those pujas actually in their offices or shops, because
Mm.
that is the beginning of the new year in terms of financial year.
Okay.
That is known as, that is known as Vikram Samvat on the Diwali
Mm.
day, and that is the year 2080. We are
So,
56,
well, it's
57
the
years.
sense of the New Year's here in Brazil. We would have it in the 1st of January. So that's the meaning to you.
Yes. So that happens on Diwali day. And that is in the
Mm.
stock market, if you ask, actually it is a holiday, but on the Diwali day, which is the actual Diwali people know as the festival of lights, because that you have got the full celebrations, that is they at least have 1 hour of Muhurat trading, just symbolic trading. And
Ah.
stock market opens only for 1 hour, but that day there is a trading. It is traditionally, it's a part of Indian culture thing from the stock market old days, because a lot of business community people are involved
Right.
into that. They do 1 hour because it is considered to be very auspicious. So business, we said, from Diwali, before that,
Well, that's
business
a
is
different
pretty much
aspect.
seasonal.
That's something different. Here, New Year's, everything closes. Banks close the day before,
No,
actually. So,
yeah. Actually, the business of Diwali is a lot of business actually. And if you ask, I've seen growing up, I've seen many these pujas during special this Diwali day, and people do all sort of uh, invocations and people, so
mhm.
that goddess
No,
Lakshmi, who is
and back to
considered to be the
back to what we've
goddess
been
of wealth,
talking about.
so that
Back to what we've been talking about in our chats, and business environment. Uh, it's interesting to see that of taking at least 1 hour on your New Year's because sustainability comes from the ability to sustain yourself. And that gets
Right.
back to business. So you have to be economically active. You should be to be able to sustain yourself. But beautiful. What are we
Absolutely.
seeing now? You're showing us. Is that your
Yes, this
home?
is yes, this is on the real big Diwali day. You know, where
Mm,
this is the rangoli, which we call this is a decoration outside your house. Some create something inside also, but this is
okay.
the known as a decorative thing which you artistically draw outside, and there you see you have got those earthen diyas, the lights, along with
Right.
some candles because sometimes the earthen diyas take a bit of your effort. So nowadays, from a easier point of view, you also use candles. But
But beautiful.
traditionally,
Not only the lights, but I can see the focus on flowers, the focus on life.
yes, yes. So this is
Beautiful.
the entrance, and I can show you. So this is the real Diwali pictures. These are all simple ways you prepare.
Mm,
You can see me also trying to put some oil into the diya so that they can work all night. These are the different, and
beautiful.
you can see me also. You can see the entrance with the flowers, and up above you will see there is all those things, welcoming goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, so that when she comes, why do we light our entrances? So that when
Beautiful.
goddess comes, the
So it's
goddess
very
of wealth.
inviting, right? It's obviously an
Yes,
expression of life,
yes,
light, but an invitation.
exactly, exactly.
Very welcoming.
Right, right. So that's the reason, that's the way you put those things, that's the way you can say this
Well, you
is
see
the
that to the beginning of our conversation. What you just shared with us is something that I can guarantee you that most Brazilians are not aware of. And if we would say that it's the equivalent of a New Year celebration, New Year celebrations here is, fireworks, everybody else dancing in the streets. It's festive. It's a time of commemoration. Also, a time of when you're sending out your wishes for the new year, right? And part of that is to be more fortunate and thanking for what you have. But it's dancing in the street. It's a lot of dancing in the street, a lot of fireworks, a lot of excitement amongst people. And so when I'm sure when Brazilians hear about Diwali that it is the New Year, if they do equate it to anything, it would be that it's a
right.
commemoration. It's a time of happiness. But here in Brazil, we have a portion of the country, the persons really go to the beaches on the night of the New Year and commemorate. It's a more spiritual thing. And really, they send out offerings onto the beaches. And many, that's flowers, it's candles, back to the light. They'll set up little things on the beaches you've just done, little pots of either candles or lighting, always flowers. Always flowers. And many times they'll make the flower offerings to the ocean. And what is said here that you need to jump over, I think it's 7 waves. So people will go into the ocean and then jump over 7 waves, they make their offering to the spirits. So that's a feeling that I can see similar to what you just showed us. But again,
Absolutely.
most Brazilians aren't aware that that happens in India.
Right, right. So it's you see, and a lot of stories are intertwined. It is like, on Diwali day they say that Lord Ram, he came back home, so people lit all
Mhm.
these diyas, so it started. Many people say it is, why do we worship goddess Lakshmi? Because
Mhm.
on this day there was this whole churning of the ocean between the gods and the demons,
Mm.
and therein the goddess Lakshmi came out of that, and so did the Amrit also came in, and so many good things and the bad things also. A lot of a lot of poison also came out, which nobody was ready to deal with. Then Lord Shiva, came
Uh,
down and he took that responsibility, and he could take all the poison, and
ah,
he did not take it inside him. He held it here on his in his throat, and that is why he is considered as Neelkant, because of this whole much of poison he could hold on his in his throat. That is why he is also known as Neelkant. So you see so
Mm.
many stories from ages. You find
Ages
them.
and ages and ages, and from
Yes,
different parts of the country.
right,
Since
absolutely.
you have the largest population in the world, so I'm sure the traditions that are brought forward are certainly different in different parts of the country.
Right,
But it
right.
is interesting to see that it all does converge on some type of celebration at the same time.
Absolutely. And as I said, these are times of the holidays and talk also a lot of business. People prepare for these things from long back. Before
Mm,
this auspicious month starts, there is this one period of Pitr Paksh when you pray to your ancestors. That is the time people
mm.
do not, they
Ah,
open their shops, but they do not buy new things. Many of them, as they say, so that is the time when they want to pray to their ancestors. That's known as Pitr Paksh. But after this, Navratri starts, and then with the Dashera and everything towards culminating in Diwali, and then afterwards a couple of other festivals. After Diwali, there is this Bhaiya Dooj festival. Then Govardhan Puja,
mhm.
where you remember how Lord Krishna held one big mountain
Right.
in his small finger so that all the people could be protected. Because there was this whole this competition between Lord Krishna and Lord Indra, the god of rain. So you see, all those things sound very interesting. And today you can see, you may be listening, so hearing some crackers, and also people still continue to burst a lot of crackers. That keeps on
Right.
happening until
Well,
you.
it's high energy. It's high energy celebration. So what we should say to you and our Indian friends is not only Happy Diwali, but do we also say Happy New Year?
Yes, yes, we are. If you look at it from a Hindu calendar point of view, it is known as Vikram Samvat, and
Mm.
we are in 2080 according to that. So when trading happens in the stock market, the BSC,
Mm.
NSC, there you will see the Vikram Samvat 2080, if I understand. So we are 57 years, ahead in terms of
Mm.
the generally known calendar. 56 years in some months, because of that whole transition, but actually it is 57 years. You look at it, and a lot of people follow it, especially from, say, maybe astrological prediction, and they follow the panchang there. I don't know too deeply about it, but it is
Uh,
very interesting. And in fact, a lot of people change their khata bahi, that they say in India, is the
mm.
books, the financial books. They change their
Mm.
ledger. They basically, if it's in the form of a paper ledger, so they change. I've grown up seeing my grandfather, my parents. If we had a small shop, so I used to see that happening. Used to go into, there was a prayer.
The start of a new business year, that's true. So that's,
Exactly, exactly.
but
That's
but in
where I
any
say.
sense, by your calendar, many Indians are already in the future. They're they're much more into the future than we are, right?
Right. But that is what I said. It is a lot of business, and along with this, a lot of festivities and whole
Hmm.
season. I guess the marriage season will also start. So a lot of people will buy gold, and
Hmm.
gold is a part of our customs in marriages, in a lot of things. And the market is vibrant. People know it is like that
Uh,
that
Adding energy to the fire, more light,
right, more light. And you
more.
see, it is so intertwined in Western region. People will do most of the things. They are the same. In Eastern region, they celebrate Diwali along with Kali
Hmm.
Puja, goddess Kali, another form of Lord Shiva's wife.
Hmm.
When she got angry, so and she took care of the demons there. So those are also so many stories. That's why you see, if you see, type goddess Kali, you will see her tongue out, basically like this.
Ah,
And you see, but that is the divine form of the goddess. and
Very
and,
good.
and
Well,
this.
I'm so happy we talked about this for a number of reasons. Some of the things we talked about in our chat before we started, uh, as I mentioned, I went through my own house cleaning here for a number of other reasons. So it was very timely of understanding, of hearing what you said, but also from the focus of having a better understanding of a new year, of having a better understanding of what's coming and how to prepare for that. And that's anywhere at any time. And but also the main point that I got from what you said is the enjoyment. Enjoy what you have, right? And appreciate what you have. And I think that's key. And to our chats, this is chat number 8. We've spent most of last year chatting, and each chat for me, and I'm sure for our listeners, has added value. Has brought a different facet of what India is, not only in terms of business, but now we're talking about at a more personal level of how Indians act and react within their own country to celebrate. So I just want to commend you, and again, thank you, because our time shared together, our conversations shared together, have brought a new meaning, because it is that of celebrating light. All right, it's not that we were in darkness, but the more I've talked with you, the clearer things have come, and I hope that's the same for our audience. Time to reflect on what we're doing and what our businesses are about, where we want to do, and what types of persons we want to do business with, because that to me is the essence of success.
Absolutely, absolutely, Tom. As I said, there are so many things around this. The biggest thing, such festivals teach us is about, unity in diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Reflect in India is a land of diversity. From everywhere, people look at these things, celebrate it, in their own manner. But the message is the same, that
Mm-hmm.
unity in diversity. Enjoy what you have, enjoy with what you have, and share with what you have,
Share,
and
share.
right, right. And that is a lot of people, that whole sense of coming together. Earlier
Mm-hmm.
days, it is a very different sort. As I said, now the meaning becomes much more different and much more wider now. That in terms of share, unity means globally people should look at it as one humanity, in
Right.
terms of using of earthen diyas rather than anything else,
Mm-hmm.
creating out of light out of anything that you find from the earth. That is looking at one point of view, especially when we talk of so much of pressure on mother earth. That
Mm-hmm.
is another. In these modern times, when there is so much of distraction, social media and all, we can say from that point of view, a lot of internal reflection during this time can one can look at the way people earlier on used to used to look at life from a much more different angle, from respecting their elders, from respecting their closeness with their community, with their people, and that a lot of things, when you read those stories, that remembers Lord Krishna,
Ah,
when the Govardhan puja happens, he held the whole mountain or hill in his small hand, and protected all the people, as well as because there was a problem for the
mm-hmm.
community. So lot of messages everywhere. I'm sure the whole the in the world, in every community, there are all so many good stories, and the whole idea is that
Yeah,
people.
and I agree with you, but I think part of what we try to do, and in let's say creating a community, is to share the knowledge about each of those communities, because there's just so much that we don't know, and there's probably a lot more that we think we know, but actually we don't. So it's through communication, it's through talking with others in those communications looking and seeing you enjoying your Diwali, the lights, the decorations that you've put in your home, the welcoming, the candles, the little torches, the flowers. It can all remind us of something very positive and very personal. And it doesn't have to be fantastic. It doesn't even have to be electronic. So it's just seeing, it's having a good feeling about a better understanding of what other cultures are about. I think that's the first crucial step of creating a sustainable business culture throughout the world. Understand how the others live and how they celebrate and how they share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You put it rightly, how they celebrate and also share. Sharing is caring, as they say. So, on this note, on this sharing and caring note, Diwali will keep on coming and it will keep us reminding every year about how we as humans are looking at ourselves, looking at our outside communities, looking at
Right,
everything around us. And if
right.
we forget, at least from the India part, it will keep us reminding. And it
Yeah.
is good. It is good that and every year when it comes, we also get reminded of the fact that this whole we have taken a big revolution around the around
So,
this sun and our solar system, and it is time to reflect on 1 year gone by, what we want our new year to be. It's the same for individuals, it's the same for
well,
businesses.
I think what we need to take forward that every one of our chats will be a new year. And it will be a new topic and it will be new sharing. So through your new year and our upcoming new year here, I really do hope to continue what we've started of these chats to share information, to share knowledge, and to share friendship, which is probably more important than everything else that we can share.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Tom. So with this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Business Chat with Tom and AJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, and bye-bye. Congratulations to all.